Alright, let's look a little bit at evaluation and acquisition of data for your project exam. So I'm going to go out and just wander around. Suppose I am interested in doing my project on the state of Pennsylvania, Bradford County fishing spots. So the thing you want to look for is GIS Clearinghouse. And we'll put in Pennsylvania. And you'll see a bunch of information. So the terminology with GIS in there gets us to links that are very quickly to downloading data. Here you want to look at the web addresses and see if it makes sense here. A couple of them are highlighted. This is the GIS state portal, and this is Posada home page. So we'll just guess and select this one. So Posada, Pennsylvania Spatial Data Access, and here the trick is to kind of just wander around now and find some information that may have aspect of the FPT, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. So one thing we may want to do is to kind of look in here, and we may see things that make sense to us, and they may not make any sense at all. So you can sometimes wander around and find some information. Say here's watersheds. I'm going to click on that, and there's our small watershed. This gives you an idea of the size and so on. So I may be interested in the watersheds for Pennsylvania. So I click there once, and now down here it's downloading. So the file FTP, those sites can sometimes be very helpful. Another way you can go here is to look at the online mapping. Many of these will allow us to click on, once they get started, then we can have an option to download data from their map. So the idea is you're using one map to help you get information for another. Oh, you can see it took quite a while because of the amount of data that's there. So right click to download an image file. So we may be interested in Bradford County, and we could pick the county here and give you kind of an idea what can you display. And now here's the DEM data. Download here. Download, advanced download options. And here you can see we've got some stuff, although it doesn't really tell us too much of what's there. These are the color images. It's just the laser image download. It's topographical maps, 30-minute the DEM data, which is what we just brought this up, and we can kind of wander around. Now, some of this requires we know what we're looking for, so that can be a little bit of a problem if you don't know. So you've got to kind of get involved a little bit more with that aspect to know which of these towns is actually of interest. So we say maybe perhaps Towanda, and then download. So we would be getting now some DEM data from that area. So there we're using one map to identify an ability. So you can see what we're getting is we're going to get this DEM picture right here. So using online maps to get to another. I'm going to back up, and back here we could be interested in transportation. And for example, state roads, Pennsylvania state roads. So we're going to download those. Okay, so when you get to these pages like this, you can either go to the download, or a lot of times what you want to do is you'll want to look at what the metadata is and kind of make a note of this on the side. Is the metadata is very important if our data doesn't line up. So we scroll down through the metadata, and down here the spatial reference information is very important. This tells us what our projection and our this is North American datum 1983 and the ellipsoid and so on, and that's very important to know if we get into things and data doesn't line up. And then going to the FPT, going to the download, you can see we're getting a download here coming down. Okay, so all of that was found by just doing a quick search. Then we could go maybe to the state portal. Now if you notice, this is DEP. So the oil and gas mapping is probably the same as it was on the other side. Notice it's sending us back to Posada here. Okay, so generating some data from Pennsylvania to work with, and specifically Bradford County. And the next one I want to have you look at is Tiger, and this is the census data. So this is a federal scenario, and we can go to Tiger Products, the U.S. Census, and shapefiles, which is what we're after. So here, you can see some of the thing that's kind of interesting is you can get history data, which is something pretty interesting to work with. I'm going to go to thematic maps here, and you can see there's agricultural, business, so on and so forth, population. So if we wanted to include information about population characteristics, we could do that by selecting here. So this is by county. Notice those are PDFs, so those are not as helpful. Going back to Tiger Products, and what are the shape files? Go to their shape files here, 2003 shape files, and go to a download. And go to the FTP site. Now this one's got a little bit of an advantage in that we've got a PDF here. It allows us to understand what's happening. So, for example, we may want to look through here and determine, some areas that we're interested in. We may want to get the census tracts, for example, or zip codes, or school districts, or what have you. And this gives us a little bit of a key as to what we're looking at. So here, if I click down here, I'm going to download the all the zip codes. Here I'm going to download all the railroads, and just give that a click, and it's headed down there. Okay, so then from there, you want to put all of these in your exam1 directory and start extracting them, and that's to help you build the story. So one of the things I've done is I've brought in the fishing hotspots from the Fish and Game Commission, and then just a whole pile of Tiger files that I really don't know what they are. But I've got an awful lot that's there, so I'm just going to start putting some of these in. You can sort of see the outline of Pennsylvania there, and just going through and adding a bunch. Eventually I'll get some that start lining up with my data. And this was Bradford County, so you can see that I've just got all kinds of information about Bradford County. I don't know what I want to use or what I don't, but I'll put it all in there, and then start to work with it a little bit later. There's all the counties. Okay, and then you might want to drag fishing hotspots back to the top. Alright, so giving you kind of a feel of how you can fairly quickly just set up some information about a story for Bradford County fishing, and there's quite a bit of information here, and going from there, work through some of the parameters that we're attempting to have you put together for your first project exam.